Hi, welcome to my first YouTube poetry video. I hope you enjoy it. I just wanted to share some thoughts and ideas in the current pandemic, just to, I suppose, give us a different perspective and so on. I've been encouraged to do this because some colleagues and friends of mine from Tbilisi in Georgia composed and performed a show on 22nd of September last year based on my poetry, and this was the first significant public outing of my work. And the composer Tamar Purkardze and her very good colleague Nana Katsia, who curated the whole event, I can't say how grateful I am to them for including my work in their thoughts and in their creation. So to begin with, I just want to read you a poem that I wrote a number of years ago. And this, I suppose, reflects my own reticence in terms of sharing my poetry. And it was about me choosing a hat. And I had for many years toyed with the idea of wearing a hat, but I hadn't, it took me a long time to choose it. And I wrote this poem in Piazza Maggiore in Bologna. And I suppose at the moment, we are all very conscious of the terrible visitation that coronavirus has had on Italy. So there's that element to it as well. Choosing the hat. My father had a hat. I don't know if I ever saw him wear it. A hat says something about a man. I am not sure what he wanted to say. Perhaps neither did he. The Capitaria just off Piazza Maggiore has hundreds. So many statements for so many men. I browse, linger, attempt to form the question, but that question refuses to come. Simply because I don't know the answer. What do I want to say about myself? Can't be ostentatious or pompous. And what's the point in understatement? Leaving the woolen cap is like starting to shave. It is inevitable. But then I stopped shaving too. Now I just want to read another little poem that I wrote in the last few days in the current corona virus time. And I call it After the Corona Days. After the Corona Days. Nostalgia pervades lockdown. We yearn for a safer yesterday. Share old photographs, even the monochrome grandparents, music of the past, baking, riddles, board games. The rearview mirror to a harvested time in which nothing can change but what we remember. There's speculation what the world will be like when all this is over. Will it ever be over? We will live our lives anew, a silent revolution, reflection, taking stock, putting value on things that have value. Less frivolity, slower pace, friends, family, virtuous frugality. As the door opens, will we be repentant sinners for a week, or 2, or 10? Will the edges of our resolve gradually fray, slipping back to how things were? A reward for weeks of deprivation and fear. Dust on the baking bowl, the snakes and ladders, and parents' albums. Was this towards Damascus? On the road, did a thing happen that changes everything? Good intentions are never fully lost or won. Maybe we will steer the ship from the climate precipice. Share more, seek less, be thoughtful even if Corona doesn't remind us. Now the final poem I want to share with you was inspired by the performance of my cousin, a little girl who played the fiddle at her grandmother's funeral. Her grandmother was my aunt, but also my godmother. And she's the daughter of my first cousin, who's the son of my godmother. And I call the poem Suantraí. Suantraí. She pulled the bow across the strings and released something beautiful and primeval. those notes became the oldest thing in the ancient church and the newest. The fiddle found voice for a language that endured more storms than the slate roof, bursting out to every corner and deep past auditory senses to where we locate identity. A lingua franca, whose semantic is created in our own personal decoding, linking our pulse and our past, in myth, reality, imagination, and sense of wellspring. Saying the fondest farewell for her father, lulling her grandmother to her long sleep. Placing the woman whose life and death had us here, back at the centre of our own funeral. And apart from this being one of the poems used in Human Race, it also, I think, resonates with me because at the moment, the whole business of funerals and death is so difficult for everybody. People having constraints in terms of being able to say goodbye and a proper farewell to the people they love most. So that's all I have for you for today. I'll be back again with maybe some more offerings as the days progress and we continue in lockdown. Thank you for watching.